Greetings and welcome to our viewers and listeners around the world. I'm Doug Kennedy with Kennedy Training Network, and welcome to this month's KTM webcast, understanding what personalized hospitality is and what it isn't. Now, if you did join us for the live event, which about a third of our audience did on Friday, March 21st, you might have realized that I forgot to click a box and I had a screen share on that made me a little talking head in the corner. So therefore, if you were not attending live and you're watching the recording, or you're watching us perhaps on our YouTube channel or Spotify, we're going to do it live and we're going to do a redo, and hopefully even better the second time around, and you'll be able to see me full screen. So first of all, we are going to skip our shout outs, which I did to welcome our listeners from all around the globe. We had about at least 8 different countries represented. I know a lot of you are watching in Teams live, and we really appreciate our live audience. But we're going to skip our shout outs, but I do not want to skip the acknowledgement of our sponsors, without whom we could not make these webcast series possible for you. First of all, Track Hospitality Software, a TravelNet solution. Thank you for sponsoring us. They offer a whole suite of different products, including a property management system that's excellent for vacation rental companies, condo hotels in particular. They also offer TrackPulse, which is a call and lead tracking for all accommodations companies, including hotels and resorts. We have a lot of our clients using that, and as well as Atlas and revenue pricing software as well. And then Travel Outlook, the premier hotel call center, the only call center fully certified by Kennedy Training Network. That means we personally train all of their onboarding classes in a 4-step process. I greet them on their first day, and then I also do 2 other training steps with them in addition to our KTN team. They've actually been a certified call center since 2013 when we launched the program. So thank you, and again, shout outs to our sponsors. Let's now dive in, understanding what personalized hospitality is and what it isn't. Now, personalized service is a term used loosely these days, especially in the hospitality industry. Huge investments driven by sometimes questionable survey results are showing that guests want all this AI-powered automation. Now, please stay with me for the whole webcast, because if you do, you will realize I am not anti-AI, because later in the program, we're going to look at what are excellent, practical, here and now ways that the hospitality industry can use AI. We love AI. Put your arms around AI and give it a big hug. We do it here. Some ways we use AI. Our social media and marketing coordinator, Julia, is using AI so much right now with our KTN rebranding. We actually had some humans give us mock-ups for new logo concepts. And you know what? I have to admit, Julia found a better one by using the right prompts for AI. AI created our logo, okay? We had some humans do finishing touches. We use it to work on our advertising copy. If you found this webcast promoted on LinkedIn, you have been touched by our AI generated advertising copy. I use AI in creating many of the images we use for conference presentations and training. There's so many ways we're going to cover specifically for hotels to use AI, vacation rental companies, resorts. So please stay tuned for that. However, that being said, let us now question results and data supporting, so-called supporting, the fact that customers prefer AI. Now, EHL Insights, and the research that I can see, this EHL is actually a pretty impressive educational institute in Switzerland and Singapore that is raising the bar for hospitality education around the globe. I guess, I don't know if it's their faculty or people from their organization submit articles regularly for many of the same publications that I write for. Now, a lot of their stuff is very, very good, but I do have to call out some of their articles that are talking about data regarding customer preferences. So let us read up here. Customer preferences in hospitality are shifting, And at the moment, AI personalization is the dish of the day. Now, they're going to reference a study of over 1,700 hotel guests. Okay, but what they don't mention is the survey also included 1,905 retail consumers. This survey found was directly linked to customer satisfaction, with 61% of respondents saying they were willing to pay more for customized experiences in personalization. However, this is from a completely different survey of general consumers, not hotel guests. The devil's always in the details, isn't it? Now, looking at other data from them, what are the stated goals of AI-powered personalization? There's demand for experiences tailored to individual needs, and many travelers are willing to pay more and a premium for them. Okay, so let's look at some of the ways they are suggesting we can use AI. Now, again, I feel bad picking on EHL. I'm sure they're wonderful people, but I'm going to share with you a few other articles that say almost exactly the same thing, to the point where I wonder if like maybe AI might be helping write some of these articles. Let's look at the miracles of personalization that AI can contribute. All right, so wow. AI can automate insights and actions by analyzing large quantities of data and learning from user interactions, from customized travel recommendations to customizable room settings. AI can deliver a vast and varied range of previously unattainable customization to redefine how companies approach customer service. Wow, this sounds so amazing, doesn't it? This will all lead to increased customer satisfaction and stronger emotional connections between guests and brands. So let's look at some of these amazing things that AI can do. Imagine walking in to a room at the perfect temperature hotel room, lit just how you like it. Okay, I got a few questions. First of all, okay, I think we have a ways to go here. Now we have to have some way for our, I guess, the property management system to accumulate data on what guests want as far as the temperature and the lighting in their room. Now, then we have to take that data, and I guess that's going to mean that all of the thermostats in the rooms are smart thermostats. Okay, not far-fetched. I know that many are smart thermostats now, but it has to track that data back, then aggregate that data, and then here's another problem. Who's in the room and who's the room registered to? So if you use data, me as an example, staying in a hotel by myself on Business Travelers, which, you know, I spend about 70 days of training a year. That's about somewhere around 140 nights away from home. Probably a lot of those I'm in the room by myself. Okay, now I tend to run, I like to be a little bit on the warm side. All right, actually am on the warm side. So I prefer the temperature on the cool side, especially in the evenings, because I sleep better at night. I think it's something with my biological clock that when the temperature is cooler, it makes me sleepy. Okay, now my wife, on the other hand, Kathy, if she's with me in the room registered to me, that temperature is going to be cranked low because I'm sorry, cranked up, because my wife is always, always, always cold. All right. So if you're going with the data, when I'm staying with Kathy, I'm going to walk into a room that is freezing cold. But if I'm sorry, I'm going to walk into a room that is boiling hot because she doesn't like to be cold. And on the other hand, if she's with me and you're going with the data for me, she's going to walk into the room freezing. Another practical thing is that for all the resorts that are on the water, on the ocean, especially in the Caribbean, areas with high humidity, you know you must keep the temperature very low because it takes the humidity out of the room to avoid mildew. All right, so I guess that one's going to be a challenge. Now let's talk about the box set. They're going to find out what I like to hear. I'm a YouTube subscriber, paid subscriber for YouTube Red Music. You know, my tastes vary everything from bluegrass music, where I grew up, to reggae music, where I love the Caribbean. I like Latin music because I dance salsa, merengue, bachata. You know, I like me a little bit of hip hop sometime. I like R&B. I like my oldies, but they're gonna figure out my favorite box set. Okay, all right, maybe. The drink you love is waiting on the table. Okay, how are they gonna do that? So first of all, people like to drink different things. Now, there are those people that are always a scotch and soda or a Manhattan, or they always want their dirty martini. But, are they going to know that we really want to drink at that time? Okay, maybe somehow they could. However, if it is a chilled drink, that's going to require some really, really good timing to make sure the ice is fresh in that room. I don't know, maybe they could put the ice in a bucket. Conceivably, maybe, assuming they have a bartender. And by the way, assuming that you're not celebrating dry January or that you're on keto. All right, I don't know. Um, Pillow, mattress and pillows. Okay, so with as far as the mattresses, I guess we're going to sleep number beds or tempermatic, and I guess we're going to track that data once again, so that because some people like a firm mattress, some like the pillow top. Sometimes there's a little bit of differentiation there. And then, of course, now we're going to talk about dining experiences. So AI-powered software combined with machine learning can create memorable dining experiences for specific tastes. Imagine if a guest has dietary restrictions, you can deliver customized menu options. The do you have any allergies question? Is anyone else watching this webcast getting a little bit tired of how many times we're asked this question? It became a Forbes standard, I don't know, a few years back. It's a brand standard for a lot of places. I don't know, LHR, AAA. It's gotten to the point where we're asked so many times. For me, it's gotten a little bit annoying. Now, I actually have a food allergy, okay? And I have a grandniece who's now about 13 that now my food allergy is not that extreme. Okay, I'm not going to die if you feed me lobster. I might have a certain reaction down here that's extremely uncomfortable, but my grandniece is very allergic to peanuts to the point where she carries an EpiPen. All right. Now, from what I can tell by people that do have severe allergies, they take it upon themselves to let people know right up front. Now, let's say you forget, and that would be terrible, terrible, terrible. But we've gotten to the point now where we ask at a lot of hotels when they call to make the reservation, we ask when I'm talking about the room reservation, we ask at the hostess stand. I've actually been to a hotel recently where the host stand, I was asked by the host or hostess, I was asked by the busser, I was asked by the server. When I actually went to the buffet line for breakfast, they asked me again. It is a little bit of overkill here. Let's say you could actually find that. Do we really want to rely on data pulling and AI to take over the customizable menu options? Or are we just going to annoy the guest further by asking 4 or 5 times and then AI is going to give them a menu? Okay. Sounds a little complimented. Now, in the restaurant, we're also going to ensure those regular guests get their favorite table and adaptable lighting and music. Are we going to put headphones on guests so that they only hear the music and put them in booths so the lighting is right for them? Some of us might want brighter lighting if you can't read the menu and you don't want to pull out your flashlight. Some of us might want dimmer lighting. Maybe, we look a little better, a little younger in the dim light. Great ideas. Operationally, I have questions. Do you? Now, this one here was published in eHotelier by BookBoost AB. I don't really know much about them. They're a hospitality engagement platform that improves guest relationships, enhances marketing effectiveness, and simplifies process. Their use of AI they're advocating for here is to personalize every interaction using the data you already have, craft messages that feel relevant and thoughtful. For example, if a guest regularly books spa treatments, send a message about seasonal spa packages. I have seen this on so many articles advocating for the use of AI in marketing, but aren't we already doing that? Yeah, I think so. Do we really have seasonal packages? Are you going to have a pumpkin spice massage oil? Maybe, but if you are, I'm pretty sure you might already be doing email blasts to repeat guests. Maybe we're going to find out that this particular guest likes a particular thing, or we're going to do a particular message to that. I don't know about you, but I don't even read most of my pre-arrival emails anymore because we're overwhelmed with emails on the day of our travel. Everybody emailing you for an upsell on your rental car, and up on better seat on the flight, or pre-arrival instructions and pre-arrival offers. Maybe. Now, what about for those loyalty members, a thank you message paired with a small but meaningful gesture, like a curated offer for their favorite service or a surprise room upgrade? I think we're already supposed to give surprise room upgrades to loyalty members. I don't know what the gesture is going to be, but I don't know, maybe there's something there. Now, this is one that just came out last week, the week of my webcast when it was live. 7 key trends shaping hotels in 2025. AI powered personalization. Whoa, that caught my eye, so I read it because I love personalization. What is this? Enlighten us with. AI ensures preferences like room temperature or pillow type are met before check-in. By analyzing data from past stays, AI can suggest tailored experiences such as that personalized spa treatment, oh, a local tour aligning with the guest's interest. Imagine being a guest at your property and finding personalized recommendations for your anniversary waiting in your room, all because AI utilized your marriage data date from past stays. All right, let's think about this. Are you really going to, guys, ladies, I don't know, anybody with a partner, maybe, whatever your partner is, like, are you really going to wait till you get there to make plans for the weekend? If I'm taking my wife away for our anniversary, I've already made the plans around the time I booked the hotel room. Not going to wait till I get there. Oh, and let's talk about pillows. Can't forget that. My wife, Kathy, she loves the flattest pillow possible. Now, the trend in hotel these days, those big giant fluffy ones, I love me a fluffy pillow, all right? But if Kathy checks in and there's different pillows, she's going to find the flattest pillow possible. If there's no flat pillows, she is going to sleep with no pillow, okay? But if, again, you go by my guest data, you're going to have a bed full of fluffy, thick pillows, preferably feather, okay? Kind of seems complicated. So let me bring up another thing. Not only does this AI search seem impractical, but having all businesses do this research on our social channels, to me, might feel just a little bit creepy, like we're being spied on by AI. So I'm just wondering, oh, and by the way, here's another thing. The accommodations companies that I feel have the best chance to actually do all this AI powered personalization. For example, if you're going to have enough staff and enough tech to find out that that guest likes to have a Manhattan or a dirty martini waiting, and you're going to make sure the ice has not melted, and that the, I don't know, fresh baked hot pretzel with honey mustard is warm, you're probably going to have to be a luxury hotel, and you're probably going to have to be charging a high rate. And the people paying the highest rates tend to be the most wealthy people and influential in our society. I don't know about you, but I don't think their profiles are public, if they're even on Facebook and Insta and Snap. And I don't think they're sharing their personal preferences anyway. So, what is personalized service so far? Okay, receiving a personalized email about a special rate offer for return guests. I get these a lot. Hello, Douglas. We hope to welcome you back to Brand X Resort. Okay, now, I mean, it's kind of cool, but in the 1989, when I started my first company, we used mail merge. Back then, people were like, whoa, you typed a letter just for me, Doug Kennedy. Really? We just used WordPerfect. And, if you remember WordPerfect, anybody? You had to use codes in the document, and then you would merge in your database. Probably around 2010, we sent personalized postcards printed with your name. We encouraged hotels to send personalized postcards, inserting like, we look forward to welcoming you back for spring break. So I think this is not really personalization. I think this should be called contextualized marketing offers. Now, here's another cool thing that is personalized. You walk in to your guest room and your name is displayed on the TV. Wow. Now, my son Adam and his lovely bride Kira, they were married at age 24 and 21. I believe in young love, true love. And they, are so enthusiastic at their wedding in 2023, fall of 2023. Their dream honeymoon was Disney World. They went to a Disney resort and they walked in and their name, welcome, Adam and Kira Kennedy. First time as a married couple. That was really exciting. I actually heard all about this, and if I recall correctly, I think I saw a photo of it pasted on his socials. But I don't think it's going to be the same ever again. Sorry, Adam and Kira. I walk into any branded hotel, the TV is on and it's playing, whatever channel music in the background, and it's got my name on there. I don't get a warm fuzzy. Okay. I think these are better called automated name insertion systems. To me, that's not personalization. So, how do guests feel about automation of personalization? How do you feel about so-called personalized services such as these examples? Do you get those warm fuzzies when you get that happy birthday text from your insurance company? Um, does it make you go, "Aw," when you get an email starting with your name inserted? When you get that text that says, "Thank you for being a valued mobile phone customer," does it really make you feel valued? Okay. Am I being cynical? Because it doesn't do that for me. Yes, AI can do a lot of things for our guests in a minute. I promise you, I'm just about to cover them. But only humans can truly deliver personalized service. All right. There are hotels. I think there's one in Japan I keep reading about that actually has robots working the front desk. I have seen the virtual, almost the 3D. I forget the word now. That is the hologram front desk person. That actually seems kind of cool. But when it's actually a robot says, "Thank you for being loyal guests. Welcome back, Mr. Smith. How was your trip in?" Okay, that's not going to make me feel welcome. All right, because it takes a human to do so. Now, we had a really cool client called Sextant Stays. They later rebranded as Romy in their properties, including the one in New Orleans when I checked in. They're more like short-term rental, almost like apartments, and they have minimal staff, so they don't have staff at night. But what they really have is very cool. It's actually a robot stick holding something that looks like an iPad, but on that iPad is an actual live virtual working assistant, a virtual assistant. It's actually a staff member working in the Philippines that greets guests, and it's kind of shocking. She says, "Oh, hello, hello, how are you?" And I found myself going, "Wow, she had a beautiful smile, an actual real person." That's how we use tech to touch, because robots won't do it for us. Now, what can AI do? Well, it can do a lot of things for guests. It can handle many customer service requests. It can reduce the number of calls that go to the front desk staff, allowing employees to spend more time on customer service issues where the human touch actually adds value. So let's talk about Travel Outlook. They introduced Annette probably, I don't know, 3 years ago at least. Annette is their AI-powered voice assistant, and they deploy it in a wonderful way because AI for many of their clients can make a dining reservation or tell you about the concert and events at one of their venues, or any other routine tasks like handling requests for extra pillows or more K-cups. But they do that because it then siphons off all that voice traffic, either that their client's front desk can then handle those calls, or their reservations call center can take those calls and spend time to have personalized, authentic, genuine conversations, which is why they're a premium call center on the voice side. But AI is a good blend, and that's what we're all about. So what else can AI do? I encourage all of our hospitality leaders to embrace AI, put your arms around it, hug it, as I said, and use it for practical ways. Let's talk about just a few ideas that some of our clients are using. Assigning cleaning schedules for housekeeping to break out the house. You know, breaking out the house for the cleaning crew takes a long time if you're a 150 room upper mid-scale hotel. But if you're a gigantic hotel, 500 rooms, 1,000 rooms, we have clients in the multiple thousands of rooms. AI can really, really help send those housekeepers on a route where they don't have to push the carts too far. God bless them for all the work they do. Organizing and scheduling long-term maintenance tasks so we can get in there and change those air filters. We can change water filters if you have full service accommodations that have fully equipped kitchens. We can change the batteries on the locks or on the remote controls so we don't have to wait until the guest calls us and the battery's not working. So long-term maintenance. Assisting with rate changes powered by dynamic pricing. Now there are many AI-powered revenue optimization systems that actually use the algorithms to tell you what price to use, which I think is great. But then there's also systems, and I believe Track is among those, that actually allow you to have AI power the individual rate changes on individual accommodation types. So you say, demand is strong, increase everything by 10% across the board, and you don't have to go in and change the rates for each accommodation type. Wonderful options. Integrations between distribution channels. You know, years ago, the third-party bookings would come in, well, originally by fax and then by email and more. Now it's automation by onward distribution. So AI integrations are helping with those API connections. Blocking rooms for special requests, fantastic idea. Fielding easy questions when people ask them in chat, I think is fantastic. Fulfilling simple requests such as confirming a dining reservation, a tea time, or a transportation request. These are all ways that we can use AI right here, right now. And assistance in responding to guest reviews. Please don't use it to completely write your reviews, but you can use AI to generate a new way because you know you need to respond to every review and you don't want to copy and paste. So AI can help us with that. These are all ways. Now, in the meantime, here's my real issue with all this. Leadership has spent so much time as an industry obsessing on tech that we have forgot to obsess equally on the foundational hospitality principles. You go to conferences these days for the lodging industry, accommodations industry, tourism in general. I know because I'm a speaker at a lot of these conferences. Most of the presenters are talking about something to do with AI or data-powered personalization. So we should have those sessions, but let's bring back old school hospitality because that's what truly helps your accommodations company stand out from the competition. You cannot out-tech the competition, but you can out-people them. One of my famous quotes, if you're a regular webcast attendee, I apologize if you've heard this too many times from me, but I like to emphasize it. So if you study the etymology of the word personalization, now it seems to me to be true that a clear sense of personalization must be created by a real live person. I only speak one language, unfortunately, because when I grew up, I wasn't encouraged to study a language and it wasn't required where I went to university. But therefore, I love actually finding all I can about the one language I do manage to speak, and I love to use the online dictionaries where you press the word and it comes up, and if you drill down, you can find out the history of these words. And so, to help me for this webcast, I used AI. Thank you, Google's Gemini. What is the history of the word personalization? Well, according to Gemini, personalization emerged in the 1860s, derived from the verb personalize, first used in 1747, and the suffix ation, meaning the act of making something personal. This is really interesting. A more detailed look at the history of personalization, the general store area. In the past, general store owners in small communities knew their customers by name and understood their individual needs, creating a personalized shopping experience. Personalization by a person. Okay. Now, I have my own version of this, which was my best education I got growing up in my mom's store. My mom was a shopkeeper. She was a very successful shopkeeper. She actually started a craft supply store. Had my mom been born in a different era and generation, she might have founded Michael's Crafts. In fact, it could be called Barbara's Crafts, but instead she founded Kennedy Crafts. Now, we sold craft supplies, but about 5 years after my mom opened that store, along comes Kmart. Yes, Kmart was a disrupting force in the retail business back then. Kmart sold craft supplies, the same ones we did, for at least 20% less. So you could buy a can of varnish for your decoupage project, or macrame cord, or art supplies for painting. You could buy it for 80 cents at Kmart. It costs $1 at our store. But people came to our store anyway. Why? Because they walked in the door. My mom, Barbara Kennedy, knew everybody's name. She knew everybody's story. People would come when they had family and friends from out of town. They would proudly walk into mom's store with their sister-in-law, their cousin, and my mom would go, "Sally, how are you?" And then they would say, "Oh, I wanted you to meet Barbara Kennedy. I was one of her first customers." About 500 women walked into that store every month thinking they were one of Barbara's first customers, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, that is old school personalization. We're going to talk about how do we do that in just a minute to finish out this webcast. Why do we as humans crave personalization? Why is hospitality so important? Every time I teach an on-site class these days, I start out with that question. Why is hospitality so important? A lot of people say, oh, well, Doug, it's a result of us being so isolated in the COVID-19 era. It's actually probably true. And, you know, this was actually the first photo I got of the COVID-19 virus. A beautiful virus, may I say. Horrible things it did to our world. But, you know, after a year, 2 years of isolation, at least for those of us who cared about our elderly, cared about the immune compromised, and were cautious, we were staying home and or wearing masks and going out only to the grocery and maybe the doctor. So yeah, people get back out there. We missed it. Or is it because of all the automation these days affecting daily life? So everything we do, we have fewer and fewer interactions. Possibly. Or is it because humans are, by our own very nature, social creatures? My opinion, yes, yes, and especially yes. So let's look at some more data from AI. I remember taking an anthropology class. I love to study sociology, psychology, organizational communication, and I did take anthropology. The famous anthropologist Margaret Mead is often quoted to say the first sign of human civilization is a healed femur bone, which is the thigh bone. Okay, let me show you a picture of it right here, um, if you're not familiar with it. Because a healed femur bone indicates that someone with a broken leg was cared for by other humans long enough for that bone to heal, signifying a level of cooperation and compassion within the community. And that's a core element of civilization. We need each other, ladies and gentlemen. We need each other very much. In the wild, a broken femur would result in death for an animal because it couldn't hunt and it couldn't defend itself. We are social creatures. So meeting our human needs as creatures that are fundamentally social is not just a nice gesture, it's actually a proven way to enhance your guest loyalty. Now, let me refer to some actual stats on this. This is a survey presented by Deloitte. You can actually Google search it for the guest experiences and booking survey, hotel guest experience, measurement and strategy, Deloitte, put that in, this survey will come up. In our research, we have identified 5 guest needs and attributes that correspond to them that make up the foundation for how hotels can move beyond the basics and provide excellent guest experiences. Okay, I don't see automated name insertion systems or contextualized marking in any of these, but I do say that they know me. They remember my preferences and my needs. 65% selected that. 62% said they listen to my needs. They being the hotel, the staff listens to my needs. They empathize with my situation. They follow through. 66% said the staff engages me in a personalized, authentic, and attentive way. And 56% said they create moments that surprise and delight me. And I think that might even be higher if more hotels made an effort to truly surprise and delight their guests. So let me tell you a story that I heard just last Thursday when I was conducting training. I was honored to be the trainer at the Palm Beach Resort and Spa on Palm Beach Island. It's actually Manalapan, very close to Palm Beach Island. This resort is amazing. It is one of the most highly decorated resorts in all of the United States, having carried the Forbes 5-Star Award designation for over 10 years. They also have the Nobu restaurant. They have, so much more I could talk about. The staff is truly amazing. When I pulled up there, I knew right away because of how present and authentically I was greeted with lasting eye contact from the valet, the bell staff to the front desk. They really looked and they were present. But the next day when I conducted the training, the training director, Zachary, told me a story. It was actually about one of the participants in my class. It was Kathy, the director of reservations. They call it the green M&M story. So I'll do my best to get this story right. The story goes something like this. Before Kathy was promoted to director of reservations, she was at the time, I don't know if she was a reservationist still or a supervisor, but she was fielding a call, and she still fields calls today like a great manager when she needs to pitch in. But back then she was taking calls, and she hears in the background, while a woman is inquiring, she hears a young child saying, "Mommy, mommy, I need more green M&Ms. I'm out of green M&Ms. Mommy, mommy, I want green M&Ms." And I don't know exactly what was said, but the child was clearly wanting more green M&Ms. So Kathy, being the hospitality spirit that she is, as part of the Palm Beach team that she's a part of, took note of this because they love to surprise and delight their guests. Kathy makes a note of this, ends the conversation, notes the date of arrival. I don't know how exactly the mechanics work, but put it in either in the guest comment notes on the booking, or maybe she made a separate note in their CRM. But regardless, on the day of arrival, they were prepared to surprise and delight this guest. I'm imagining now room service having somebody buying a bag of M&Ms, maybe from the gift shop, and actually going and sorting out the green ones, almost like you would do on a pill counter box. And they put a little dish of green M&Ms in that guest room. Nothing was said at check-in. The guest goes to their room. About 30 minutes later, she comes down with moist eyes, asking the front desk this question: "How did you know?" The story behind this, as the front desk staff came to find out, is that the woman had just lost her husband recently, the father of the little girl. And one of their traditions, and I don't know why, but we all have our unique traditions with our children, right? Especially the little ones. The tradition was that the father and the daughter would always share green M&Ms together, maybe a good luck charm. And so when they got to the room, and they found those green M&Ms when she had never requested them, it brought a tear to their eye. And she, the guest, said to the front desk, it was almost like it was a sign. Thank you so much. What a story. Let me tell you, when this story was told in our class, there were many moist eyes, including mine. Surprise and delight. This is what we want to do. Now, to finish out today, we're going to look at what personalized service is not, and more importantly, what it is. All right. So personalized service is not receiving a welcome text that says, "Hi, Douglas, I'm Vicky, your virtual concierge." What it is any associate who looks up as you pass and smiles and uses a genuine greeting that expresses welcome in some unique way. Personalized service is not a generic welcome letter with your name inserted in the first line that says, to no one's amazement, welcome to our hotel, or welcome back, Douglas. What it is, a housekeeper who sees children's clothing and toys in the room and leaves you extra towels, as we all know how many towels young families go through. Or here's one for me, one that specifically notices that you use all the decaf K-cups and none of the others and leaves you extra just of the ones that you use. Personalized service is not when a PMS system prompts a front desk clerk to say, thank you for your loyalty, Mr. Kennedy, as they hand you a bottle of free Kirkland water, maybe in a bag, okay? I like the water, it's nice, okay, but it doesn't really make me feel personally welcome. But when a front desk reads the arrival comments and says, Mr. Kennedy, welcome back, your third visit. Wow, I can see you truly appreciate your business. We really appreciate you. You know, it's a big deal when they will tell you, the guest will say, this is my third visit. This is my seventh visit. And they will proactively tell you, they remember exactly how many times. When we recognize it first, that is personalized. Receiving a text a couple hours before dinner with a link to some online menu items, not really. But any staff member who you encounter who recommends an in-house dining option or suggests a specific entree or dessert, that's personalization. A QR code in the room, they stick them on the counters now, on the dresser or on the nightstand, or display them on the TV, perhaps even in the lobby, offering local information. Okay, this might possibly be helpful to offer this local information to those who don't own a smartphone. Okay, I'm not sure who that is. What is personalized service? When any staff member you encounter offers a local insider tip on something to eat, something to see, something to do during your stay. Oh, Mr. Kennedy, looks like, are you here on business with us? They can say, as I have my rollerboard computer bag, my coat, and I'm the only person wearing a sport jacket in the entire resort. Oh, you're here on business. Well, hope you get some free time. Did you know the museums are open late on Thursday? Or anything you can suggest or offer. You know, our spa's open till 7 if you have time to visit after hours. Oh, well, thank you. Or if you're here with your family or your kids, check out the kids club. The little ones will love it. Receiving a mid-stay text or email checking on your satisfaction. Okay, nice, not personalized, even if it has your name. But when any staff member says that you encounter says, are you having an excellent stay? And when they ask in a way that shows they really want to know. Thank you to Marshall Kelberman, the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin, for that quote. I always like to reference that. It's an exact statement that he advocates for at his hotel. When we did training there, Marshall shared that with us. Are you having an excellent stay? So much better than how's your stay? Good. How's everything? Good. That's good. Yeah. Are you having an excellent stay? How about this one? Receiving a text on the day of your checkout, thanking for your business and saying, please do a review. Oh, that'll really motivate you to jump on that phone. Yeah. How about when any staff member who notices you leaving, okay, if you're a sprawling resort, a maintenance tech, a groundskeeper, okay, a housekeeper, waving and smiling, or a traditional hotel, you pass by the front desk, they look up and say, thanks so much, travel safe, come and see us again. And they do so in a way that makes you really want to do a review without prompting. I don't know about you, but I'm getting review fatigue lately. We get asked again and again and again to do those reviews to the point where I don't know how many are waiting in my inbox, and sometimes they keep harassing you. Please do a review. Please do a review. But what makes me want to do a review is the interaction that we actually have. Now, to finish out our time together, I want to present another term I've encountered recently. It's going to be part of our our new class we're going to introduce later this year. This is under construction right now. But I'm going to give you a preview, as we do always in our webcast, preview our latest content. I love the term micro encounters. It's a wonderful term for these brief, personalized daily encounters between humans. Okay. And think of micro encounters as being the Lego blocks that create the foundation of whatever relationship we're building. Micro encounters are those micro moments that you have chatting in an elevator, waiting in the lobby, or when you actually encounter someone. I'll give you some other examples here in a moment. But why are micro encounters so important in today's society? The reason is most of us call home somewhere other than the place you currently live. That's why when you're at a party or a church picnic, or you're going to the temple or mosque meetup, or you go to a wedding and meet other guests and make the rounds, or you go to a conference, a go-to startup question whenever you meet a new person is, so where are you from originally? Okay, because many of us, most of us in the United States, we don't live where we're from. And we harken back to our original roots. Many of us no longer have those strong ties to our local community, and therefore these micro encounters are ever more important. So they're good for the guest, they're good for business, but they're good for us. So why are they so important? Let's look at business travelers. Now, some of you may be watching from hotels that have a lot of business travelers. Some of you may be resorts and you think we don't have any business travelers. Look again. You have people attending conferences. A lot of times conference attendees, it might be their first time away from their new baby or their dog or their elderly dog that's on, moving on in the end towards that rainbow bridge, not to make you sad, or just the loneliness. I think about what it's like for that traveler. This could be me on a lot of days, especially on a delayed flight. Think about all of the automation that has replaced human interaction. When I wake up in the morning, first of all, I'm going to call an Uber or Lyft on my phone. I'm going to have already checked into my airline. When I land, I might even pre-order my snack on certain airlines, particularly United Airlines. I'm going to get on that plane. I'm going to land. Avis is going to send me straight to my space because I'm Avis Preferred President's Club. I'm going to use maps to get me to the hotel. If I'm at a Hilton, I might even use self check-in on the smartphone. There's not a lot of human interaction as much as there used to be. So when you have a micro encounter with that business traveler, imagine how important. Even our leisure guests, think of all the human encounters that have been taken away since back in the day when you were a kid traveling with your parents. I remember my dad pulling over and pulling into the gas station, which was called the service station, and asking one of the locals for directions, or maybe you go to a convenience store. A lost art. Speaking with fellow passengers on the plane. Nowadays, with all the crazy things that have been happening on planes and people fighting and arguing, I just saw a big blow up as we were deplaning recently. People don't want to even talk to the other passengers. Personally, I have to admit, I wear bright orange earplugs. Well, I'm going to be working that whole flight. I do take them out when the runway's in sight, and I do enjoy still talking. Playing I Spy or Punch Buggy, No Punch Back. This was what a lot of us did when we're traveling with our families, but now the kids are on the iPhone. I have to admit, my kids had the fold down TV in our Honda Odyssey minivan. They still fight over which DVD to watch. But now kids are plugging in and online. They're not looking for buggies. Talking with other guests at the restaurant, the pool, the beach, the ski lift. So many people sit out at the pool with their earbuds on, and they're not interacting in ways that they used to. So those micro encounters make all the difference. They also make our life more fun in the hospitality space. What are some examples? Brief conversations during an elevator ride. You get on an elevator. Now, some of you think, oh, we only have 3 floors. My experience, the fewer floors that elevator traverses, the slower it goes. I was at the Wyndham Atlanta, Club Wyndham Atlanta last week. I think they had 22 stories up to the top. Man, that thing was fast. But you go to, you know, a Hampton Inn, a Courtyard Inn, a Hilton Gardens, got 3 floors. It's like, it is a very long ride. Hey, how's your stay going? Nice to see you. Okay, I'm going to give you some other examples in a minute. A chat in the lobby as they await their rideshare pickup. Okay, walk over and talk to them. During calls to reconfirm their booking. By the way, a great thing to say is, hey, now that you've reconfirmed that booking, do you have any questions? Have you made your dining reservation? Have you thought about the spa? If they've called a luxury hotel. Anybody that you pass in a corridor or walkway, okay, catch their eye for a moment, have that connection, share a brief micro encounter if they seem open to it. When they look lost or confused, instead of waiting for them to say, where's the restroom, approach them and say, can I assist you in any way? And then, of course, walk them part way towards the restroom or the meeting room or the doorway to the pool out back, okay, or the fitness center. Strike up a conversation. I'll give you some conversation starters in just a moment. When a maintenance tech is in their room, maintenance and engineering techs can be the face of your company. They spend the most time, probably of any employee, actually engaging with those guests. And when housekeepers pass guests in the hallways, these can be micro encounters. When I was at the O Palm Beach recently, last week, I was amazed. Every housekeeper stopped what they were doing, looked up, connected eye contact, and said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And, you know, a couple of times I did slow down and say, how are you today? And I always like to say, thank you for keeping this place so amazingly clean. And we have a brief chat. I feel good. They feel good. Before you take their drink order and or explain tonight's specials, welcome. Are we celebrating anything special tonight? Have those connections, all right? In the spa or fitness center. I never forget, and I always like to mention Jerry at the Majestic Mirage. I have worked out for years. For most of my 3 decades of training, I work out whenever possible at the fitness centers. Now, a lot of them are not staffed, but my full service hotels, luxury resorts always have a staff member in there. And even at the paid gym that I go to, LA Fitness, the staff almost never proactively approaches the guest or the club members. Jerry at the Majestic Mirage in Punta Cana, this guy goes up to you and said, and by the way, he didn't speak very much English and I speak no Spanish, but we use Google Translate. We had a great connection. In fact, there's a photo of him on my Instagram and LinkedIn. And Jerry will give you those little hints of fitness, and he actually helped me work out. It reminded me that, you know, the little tweaks that they do when I'm doing, you know, the tricep press, and he's like, oh, stand a little closer. Ooh, it just got a lot harder. But these are wonderful ways to make those connections. Now, what are you actually saying? Sometimes these are the lost art of communication some of our staff forgets. So some really easy reminders. Hi, baby. How old are you? Maybe you really don't even like babies, but put yourself out there. And you know, if you gain eye contact with that baby, you're going to be feeling that baby vibe. And then mommy's going to say, oh, I'm 17 months. You know for sure it's a first baby. Hi, puppy. What's your name? Maybe you don't really like dogs, but it's the key to the pet owner's heart. They'll be answering. Ah, Steelers fan. Well, I'm from Baltimore, but I like you anyway. I'll forgive you. If you know anything about football, the Ravens, Steelers. Good evening. Headed out somewhere fun tonight? When you see the lovely couple dressed in their finest attire, waiting for their Uber pickup. A female speaking to a female, I love to see women do this, lifting each other up. It happens to my wife, Kathy, all the time. Oh, can I just say, I love your necklace. What a lovely earring. What a lovely sweater. She has a one pink sweater. She loves this sweater. And there's a big story behind this pink sweater. She loves to tell the story of when we went to Lafayette Galleries and it was the first thing we saw. And I said, honey, you just got here. You know, you don't buy the first thing. And then later, That's what she wanted to go back and get. Well, we couldn't remember what store we saw it in. You know, the story doesn't make me look bad, but she loves to tell it. And now I just told it, that's a nice tie. Well, as you see, I'm not wearing a tie, and not many people wear ties anymore. But if they have one, it's probably nice, and they probably haven't worn it much. What an interesting ring. I proudly wear my University of Kentucky college class ring. A lot of young men ask me about this, and I love it when they do because I love to tell the story. I wear the ring proudly because I'm the first in my family to graduate from college. My father had an associate's degree, a 2-year degree, but he had to drop out of Pitt in order to take care of his mom. Insurance wasn't around back then for most people. His mom was ill in her final years. So I'm the first in my family, thanks to mom's success at Kennedy Craft Supply Store and my dad's hard work as an engineer and later an entrepreneur. I love to tell the story, and that's why I wear it proudly. Are you here on business? Assuming it's obvious. Have you scheduled any free time to see the nightlife, the city, the movie theater nearby, anything that you can do? So finally, before I let you go, be fully present. Shut out all that background noise in your head and look up from the computer screen or the tablet that you're taking the menu, presenting the menu and taking the orders on, and be fully present. And remember at that moment to focus on the fellow human being with whom you are sharing a tiny space on this huge blue planet for this brief moment of history. You might be 20 and they might be 80. But in the history of mankind, we are really the timeline very, very close in age. When you think that the history of man, civilized man, goes back, well, 10,000 years, maybe you say 60,000 years if you listen to Margaret Mead. But at this moment, you're right here, right now. People can tell when you're fully present. Be fully present with your guests. Focus on those micro encounters. Think about the heart of hospitality, what that really means, and you will be providing truly personalized service, just as they did years ago in a general store. Let AI do what AI will do. It will do fantastic things to help us manage our hotel. Embrace it, put your arms around it, and find out more every day about the efficiency it can do, but obsess equally on the human parts of hospitality. Please join us next month. We will be doing capturing more catering and event sales. In April, we'll swing back to sales. And again, in May, we'll move back to hospitality topics, talking about epic hospitality, empathy, patience, intuition, and compassion. Check out our podcasts, which are all archived on our YouTube channel. You can also watch Kate's Lucky Training Tip this month, which is the latest in her telephone hospitality and sales training series. It is a playlist at our webcast. You can also follow us on audio or video podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Please keep us in mind for on-site training, private live webcam training, conference speaking if you're planning an annual conference or event, mystery shopping, or if you record your calls, scoring calls, email exchanges, and our team does wonderful private live webcam coaching. So thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, if you joined us live, you have this to share with your staff who weren't there, because if not, I was a little tiny box in the corner. If you're watching this as a recording, thank you again for joining me and giving me your time. We look forward to seeing you again on our future monthly KTN webcasts. Thank you again and have a great day, everyone.